what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Darren on the line, and like with Tony 2 weeks ago, I usually want to just have an interview of our successful students. Actually, no, with Tony, sorry, apologies, it was a month ago now. So every month, I just want to make sure that, on our live sessions, I get a chance to interview our successful members. Darren, are you on the line? And Fiona?
Yeah, g'day, Terry. Unfortunately, Fiona's an apology. We're irrigating at the moment, and so she's ducking in and out, chasing water. So apologies for that.
No worries. Can I just check everybody can hear Darren okay? Before I begin? Yeah, all yeses. Awesome. Darren, I just want to firstly say thank you for doing this. I think, of course, I do see you on our live calls all the time, but thank you for doing this, because I think it's going to be an inspiration to most of especially our brand new members, but also a lot of our members have also heard about your story, but it's great to actually finally be able to interview you as well. So thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Darren, firstly, just want to get you just to introduce yourself and where you're from and what do you actually do for a living, so everybody gets to know you a little bit.
So we're from Keith in the upper southeast of South Australia. We're 2 hours southeast of Adelaide on the Melbourne Highway. We're primarily lucerne seed growers through irrigation from underground aquifers, and we also run merino ewes and grow wool and sheep meat and lamb meat. So that's what we do. Okay,
it's actually quite diverse, sounds like.
Yes, yeah, it is. We only own 2,000 acres, or in the modern term, 800 hectares. But it's quite a productive property, and it's quite diverse, and we're quite happy here doing what we're doing.
Awesome. And Darren, how long have you actually been with Freedom Trader Blueprint now, and what's been your experience so far?
So Fiona and I began in November 2016, and I began investing in on the 20th of April 2017. Look, Eric, my experience has been nothing but positive. It's been quite enjoyable. It's been challenging, which I enjoy, but I suppose they're very important aspects, but maybe most importantly, it's been profitable for me, so that's nice.
Yeah, and it's good to see, because when you send me updates of the spreadsheets, it always puts a smile on my face, because I know when I look at the history, you've been sending me, I think, on average about 2 to 3 months, you're sending me an update, and then I just see the original portfolio was very tiny, and then he slowly, the number of rows was growing, and then just seeing the amount of positive on those rows as well was actually quite outstanding. So it's good to see.
Yeah, no, we've really enjoyed it, and yeah, so glad that we got involved. Prior to, which I probably should mention, prior to Blueprint, I've had no experience whatsoever with trading or investing, and no experience with training of any description. So, yeah. So what you see in my portfolio, and I'm terribly sorry I got it to you so late. I actually thought it was next month I was going to be interviewed. I thought I had a bit of time up my sleeve.
That's okay.
That's just a bit of a faux pas on my part, but yeah, everything you see in my portfolio is thanks to your methods and your training, Terry. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, so before, obviously, you said that you're totally new to investing and trading before Blueprint. So prior to that, besides farming, were you actually investing in anything at all? And were there any frustrations about creating that financial freedom for yourself? with
Yeah, Fiona actually managed that side of it. We've over the years, she's put some savings away into managed funds, and and we've drawn on them in times of need, whether it be upgrade a vehicle or sending our kids to college or whatever it's been. So they have been useful and quite successful, but getting out of them was actually the tricky bit. So now I don't think she has any of those any longer, and I like having the control of as much as I can. Of course, I can't control what I do, but it's my choice, no one else's, sort of thing.
Yeah. And especially the exercise that we just recently did, that control of knowing, rather than having managed funds where you have no idea what they've actually invested for you on your behalf, but now having the control of knowing exactly what you own. So things that you use, and having that comfort, and I think even pride to say that I actually have I'm a part owner in this company that produces this that I'm using every single day.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, and Darren, what I know, of course, we've got the blueprint process. Can I ask, what type of process do you use to research new stocks on a weekly basis?
Yeah, look, I basically follow the blueprint process, Terry. Utilise Inner Circle as well, but initially, I have to say, initially I spent quite a bit of time and effort, and it did, I was probably chewing up a couple of hours a day researching and using, we did this, use the screener on FinViz, and then sort of narrowed that down looking for value. And you might recall back in my early days, I was perhaps a little too focused on value and overlooked the smart money. Yeah. But that's actually something I've paid quite a bit of attention to now is smart money involvement. Not all of my shares have got smart money, but the vast majority of them have. So yeah, look, I just I stick with the blueprint and what I can glean from Inner Circle. I don't tend to go off on tangents. And what I was going to say was that really I now have I suppose a portfolio of companies that I'm quite happy with that have performed for me, and I keep following and just I invest in and out when the time's appropriate, using all the trigger points that you teach. And so I don't actually spend a huge amount of time now on research. I spend a lot less time just following the market and the companies that I'm comfortable being invested in. But that also, with that just said, the last 3 months have been our busiest months on the farm. So and we're just coming out of that now. So over the next few months, I might find myself doing some more research because I will find the time to do that. So
okay. And because of course with farming, I actually want to get a sense of what does Darren Fiona's typical day look like?
That can vary considerably, but I guess we well, actually the US stock market determines my when my alarm's set. So during winter, I was getting up at 4:45 to have time to lock in my buys or sells for the day. And but as their times change and our times change, it's now I don't need to be up until 6:45 to do that. But a typical day for us is the alarm goes off at generally around 6ish, and we get up and I come to the office while Fee cooks breakfast, and then it can be, a simple day can be checking stock, stock movements, and just general farm work. There might be a bit of repair work to do or something. So that's a pretty basic day, but a more intense day can be, water changes every, like at this time of year, water changes 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's not the full 3 months. We get breaks in between, but up in the middle of the night for 3 or 4 times to shift irrigation. So that's our most intense period. And thrown in there is spraying and harvest and all manner of things. It's pretty hard to nail down a typical day.
Yeah. I mean, then would you say that in terms of course, you've got the farming, which is the main focus of the family, but in terms of being able to manage your portfolio, it's time-wise, it's actually extremely manageable. Would that be right?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, I in the early days I spent probably a couple of hours a day, but that was through quite a period of the year too. And now I've managed to get it back to a maximum 3/4 of an hour, and can do it quite comfortably in 15 or 20 minutes if need be. So. So no, very, very manageable, Terry.
Yeah, awesome. No, that's where I'm trying to show people that it's the hard yards is actually at the beginning. So everything's all brand new, and the light at the end of the tunnel is basically once everything's all systemized. Like you said, it literally will take you about half an hour to at max an hour a day once everything's systemized, because you've now got a knowledge of the familiar stocks that you're always buying and selling if you're more trading. And you're comfortable with those, so therefore there's no longer that need to find a ton of other opportunities when everything is just in front of you. And once in a while, you might find something new because of news, some news media that comes up. For example, like yesterday, something dropped in regards to the domain classifieds, the property classifieds. So I don't know if anyone is aware, but Domain, the CEO of Domain Property Classifieds, left the company yesterday. Basically for their put in a resignation, and the stock itself dropped by almost 18% overnight because of during the day because of that resignation. And that was something that I never thought about buying, but all of a sudden that popped up on my radar. So besides the stocks that I'm already familiar with, once in a while you will get these type of opportunities, but it doesn't matter if you miss them because you've already got the core portfolio, so to speak, that you're always buying and selling anyway.
That's right. Yeah.
Actually, what I might do, Darren, is I'm going to bring up. We've been talking for a while, but I'm going to bring out. This is going back, I think, back in about 2.5 months ago when you sent me this. So I didn't get it when I opened up the other file that I know you tried to send me. I couldn't open it because somehow the file type was incorrect. But this is Darren's prior in terms of the portfolio that this is going back in, I think it was October of last year. And just showing you in terms of the percentage types of percentage profits as while Darren was learning. These are the type of and I was amazed. Forget the dollar figures. What's the important part? And that's why last time when I spoke live, it's not the dollar amount, because overall over time everybody will scale up their portfolios. And I know one of our largest members now started with I think $30,000, is now sitting on a portfolio of almost $5 million. So they literally within a year they've scaled up. So it's important that we look at always focus on the percentage, because percentage is what allows us to scale up because we get comfortable. So if I look at Darren's portfolio from this is the sold portfolio, starting from row 2 all the way to row 20, so what 19 19 investments bought and sold during that period of time. And the, ranging from about 3% all the way to 21%. A lot of it, I always look at the annualized figures because Darren did not spend a lot of time in these, on average, roughly about 57 days. So in other words, every 2 months, there was a turnover in this portfolio. So on average, annualize that on certain the stocks ranging from 40% all the way to about 330%. So it's important that we annualize it, only because the true nature of this is once you sold something, now it's sitting in cash. It allows you to now take an opportunity of that expanded cash to now go and buy something else. And hence why it's important that we look at the annualized figures. And by looking at annualized figures, it really puts in a perspective of how much risk we're actually taking to make these type of returns. Because for portfolios who say, oh, this year the overall market went up by 20% plus or whatever. However, what that means though is, in order to make that 20%, most people would have had to stay fully invested, 100% of their cash, sitting in the market with all the risk associated with any market correction at any point in time to potentially, or hopefully, make that 20%. So of course, hindsight is a great tool, but nobody knew in a years down the track that the market would have gone up by 20% since President Trump came to power. So by utilizing from looking at the actual raw figures, but also looking at the annualized figures, it's important to realize how much risk that one is really taking, because in order to make these type of returns, in actual fact, most of the time, once it's sold out, it's already gone back into the safety of cash, and the risk to generate these type of returns is extremely low. So that's where I'm trying to make everybody aware that the returns that we make, although yes, they're not 30, 40, 50% returns per annum. However, if you're able to get that 15, 20% per annum, at least double digit, but the type of risk that we take, utilizing Blueprint, is extremely low to get that type of return versus say, investing into an ETF, and hopefully you might get a double digit return by the end of the year. So yeah, thank you, Darren, for sharing this, because when I saw this, I was actually quite amazed, because literally it just blew me away, because I did not see at this, when you sent me this, there was from the time you bought to the time you sold, there was literally zero losses, which is quite amazing.
Yeah, I'll send. We'll make sure you get that other one, Terry, and whether you want to put it on Facebook or pop it up next week or something. You can do what you like with it, but I'm pretty chuffed with my performance, and it's certainly outstripping the banks, and it's we're getting double plus return that our overdraft is costing us. So we're actually getting a good return on investment. Yeah,
and I think the most important thing that what I'm seeing is that this type of performance now, with the confidence level that is growing, it's going to allow you to now really, I think over the next 12 months, you'll easily see that you can easily scale up because of what you've been doing. So once you scale that up, it's over time, I really see that as growing into quite a significant amount, where it will literally, I believe, over time, potentially down the track, even overtake the farming side. So I actually already see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be good to see, Terry.
Thank you for sharing. No, it's awesome. Actually, can I just share? I might just have a quick break here. Any takeaways so far that since I've been talking to Darren for about just over 20 minutes now? Any takeaways from what we've spoken about? You can just type in a T in front of it, so I know it's takeaway, not a question. Greg's got a very tight share list. Yeah, that's what I spoke about, Greg, in terms of, you don't need a massive list to get comfortable. Just you grow it grows over time. So there's no need to watch over, say, 50 stocks. You can literally just start with, say, 5, 10, and then over time, it will just gradually grow anyway. Maggie's got persistence is the key. Tony Carr, inspiring to see a great effort. David shows it's possible. Keep trying. Chandara, do the hard yard from the very beginning, and then the profit will flow. Ian's got system with patience. Andrew has got, hi Darren, amazing results and inspiring. Thanks for sharing. Shirley's got diligence, consistency, having a go. Nice size list and manageable. Arenka has got Amazing possibilities, following the rules, getting comfortable with a small number of quality shares. Yeah. Stephen, start small and grow. In other words, scale up. Marjorie's got more patience, persistence. Valerie, persistence and patience again, and well done. Stephen's got great to see the blueprint process delivered in a space of 9 months trading. Congratulations, Darren and Fiona. And Pearl, big persistence and enter the market small. And Darren, just a lot of congratulations coming through for you.
Thanks everyone.
Awesome. Oh, Darren, one thing I didn't ask you is, obviously I've shown you a number of tools. Is there any other tools that you're using to help manage your trading and your portfolio on a daily basis?
No, I'm pretty well sticking with stock charts, Guru Focus, FinViz, Blueprint in a circle, and I use IB, interactive brokers.
Yeah.
To trade.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you've gone on it for this journey for going towards that 9 months to 1 year mark now. Any particular lessons that you've learned through your journey that stand out?
Well, yes, there are. There's probably many. I guess the most important lesson that I would stress is position size.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key to not failing in a big hurry.
Yeah.
So position size is super important, and then I think the next critical factor is patience.
Yeah.
And if and we've spoken before, Terry, about members talking about stop losses on investments, and it's just not necessary, and I don't think it's smart. Be patient, and if you've done your groundwork adequately up front, it was a good stock to invest in. So now if it drops back, then when the trigger hits, you take a second bite. But if you invested all your money or all your allocation into that stock, well, then it will drop and you will miss the opportunity. So that's where position size comes in. Take a small bite first, and have an allowance to take a second or even third bite as that, because we don't get it right first time every time, and I'm quite happy to average my price down with an investment. Of course, I don't trade, so trading is totally different kettle of fish. But and just the other well, I've got a couple more, but choose low risk stocks and control the fear and greed factors, because that will bring you undone. And fortunately, I'm a fairly laid back kind of a character, so it doesn't, if things go a bit wrong, well, I just sit back and wait and take another position, and they've always turned out right. There's a few negatives on my portfolio, and each and every one of them, and this was going to be one of my next lesson, is they've all been errors when I've been actively buying or selling. I've done something wrong. It wasn't a poor choice of stock. Everything, all the homework was done correctly. It was just when I went through the process of buying or selling that stock, I've stuffed up somehow, and that's where my losses have occurred. So if I've made a complete loss on a stock, it's through that. Right. So,
and I think it's would it be fair to say that it's really, I think the farming background's trained you to become who you are on the trading front. That patience, because things don't always go right as in farming.
Exactly, and if you're highly strung and fretting about whether it's going to rain or not, well, you might go to the grave early, perhaps. Yeah.
That's why you're looking so good, Darren.
Thanks, Terry.
Oh, that's awesome. So, just wrapping up, where do you see yourself going with your investing and trading, I guess, this year in 2018 and also beyond?
Well, I definitely see myself continuing the journey, and I do like the short-term investing system of turning over stocks on a regular basis, because back in, it may have been Blueprint or it was in a circle, you demonstrated, more than one stock where, 15 years ago people invested in something or other, and and over that period of time there was untold opportunities to make a lot of money by buying and selling, following your systems. But had they held that stock for the full 15 years and done nothing, they would have lost 3/4 of their money. So I'm not that interested in holding stocks long term, but a bit like Tony, I'm happy to hold them for up to 12 months if that's what it takes to for me to get a return from them. If I haven't done perhaps my homework as well as I should have, but no, I certainly will be continuing the journey, and with regular monitoring, and when I've got time, a bit more research, and keep the focus on low risk stocks, and possibly as Tony's done, my kids have shown a little interest in what I'm doing, so maybe I might start investing for them with a family advisor account.
Yes.
But that's I'll research that and see how that would work. So,
okay. I mean, if you're unsure about that, just either ask IB or flick through an email. I can help you out on that as well.
Thank you.
And finally, Darren, we'll wrap up now. Would you, I guess this is more self-serving more than anything else, would you recommend others join Blueprint and continuing their inner circle journey?
Yeah, without a doubt, Terry. I feel very privileged and fortunate to, I mean that sincerely, to have been involved in this, because it's allowed me to I suppose find another avenue to create wealth, so that we don't need to sell the farm to retire. So because my children want to come home on the farm, or two of them. So it'd be nice to be able to leave that legacy, and this is my retirement fund I'm working on now. So
awesome.
It's a great system, and I feel very, very comfortable and confident, and really like the low risk approach to it all. So you've done a good job. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Darren, and thank you for sharing tonight. I think a lot of people, because I'm just looking at all the messages as well. A lot of people have found your story inspiring, and it's definitely going to help a lot of people. Especially ones that are just beginning as well, and even ones that have begun to sort of stop and start the course, but they because of fear they sort of held back and haven't actually started. So this will just push them along and actually begin the journey, because someone like yourself who started from scratch is now where you are as well. So it's actually great to see, and it always makes me happy whenever I see results like this, because you're putting the effort as well. That's the important thing, and that effort just pays off.
Yeah, it does. So which is very rewarding for us. So
I think it's sorry, Darren.
I was just going to say, for those who are a bit hesitant, I think paper trading is a great way to get started. I didn't do that. I dived straight in and made a few blunders with choice of stocks. So it would have been better had I paper traded, but dive in and take the plunge, and you won't regret it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Darren. Yeah, Andrew Roberts just said legend Darren. So just pass it.
Thanks, Robert.
All right, thanks, Darren. Thank you.
Thanks, Darren.